Today we're going to continue our discussion of the resume. As discussed, the purpose is to provide a one-page informative work or education history. This is created to pique the interest of the employer to eventually get an interview. That's the purpose of the resume. It's one page. The reason it's one page, especially for high school students, is that it's to act as an advertisement, and too much information can be an overload for the interviewer or an overload for the employer. And if you're promoting yourself, you don't want to do it too much. It's like an advertisement. Just think of an ad outside or an ad in the newspaper. They're usually pretty quick, short little ads. And that's what you want to do. You want to include enough information just to make the employer interested in what you have to offer. Too little information is also a problem. But you want to have one page, and you fill out the one page completely. The format, we're going to talk about some of the specifics for high school students for the format. One of the points that I make is that you should not include an objective. You definitely should include education. Education should be listed first. Employment is listed, and then any extras that you may personally want to include. The reason I say no objective on the resume, especially for high schoolers, is because listing an objective may limit you. It may limit the opportunities that you are given. If you write an objective for something, and that's not the job you're applying for, they may not want to hire you. There was an example that someone told me about the TV show The Hills, which I didn't see, but apparently the girl was applying for a job as a receptionist at a designer's office, and in that job, she wrote out her description that she actually wanted to be a purse designer. And the girl who interviewed her said, "Why do I want to hire you if you want my job?" Education. Education should be listed near the top after your name and address and all those important pieces of information. The education should be listed. It should list with the most important information first. So if you've graduated high school, that should be listed first. You need to definitely include your graduation date. If you haven't graduated yet, you can write that your prospective graduation date is coming up or whatever it is. And then you can include things like your GPA if it's better than 3.8, and you may include things like your class rank. The next thing listed is employment. Your employment shows that you are a responsible individual. You can include any type of employment that you've had, summer jobs, fast food, answering phones for your mother or your father at their job. Then you include things like the dates and the description of the duties that you held while you were doing that job. You list the most recent first, again, and then you go backwards from there. If you haven't had a job, so to speak, then you can include things like babysitting, mowing the lawns for the neighbor, walking dogs, watching dogs while people are on vacation. Anything that you did that shows that you're responsible and that you showed that you had some responsibility. And those then can be translated as jobs with word choice, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. And then extras, any extras you want to include. Now you can title these what you choose to title them. Community service, volunteering, special skills that you may have, like computer skills, special training that you may have, like if you're CPR certified or you're first aid certified. And then you can include things like school extracurricular activities, academics or athletics, like the National Honor Society, mock trial, academic decathlon, or the athletics, like you were on the softball team for 4 years in high school, or you were on the football team for 4 years in high school. And then of course you can include things like if you were captain of those teams, and it shows that your peers valued you in that capacity. And then of course the final thing that you could also include as extras would be awards that you've received. If you won a departmental award, the science award or the English award, or if you won an essay contest and you're an essay contest winner, or you're published in the literary magazine, if you're a published author. Those are things that you could absolutely include. If you're editor of the school newspaper. And then the final thing is word choice, and there's a website with 100 great resume words. And the word choice is important because it explains categories better than how you can explain them. And it shows things like if you were babysitting and that was your job, and you don't want to say, yeah, I watched kids, I was babysitter. You can say things that you were able to maintain the safety and welfare of children. And word's choice, it all depends on what you've done and how you choose to, or the correct word that you choose to use. And I have some graphics for examples of resumes, good examples of resumes that I found. And I also have the list of 100 great resume words, and those are to use instead of just regular plain words. You can use these good resume words.